All right, welcome to day 20. And today's topic is going to be about goals and planning. Have you ever gone to the hardware store, go to Home Depot or wherever, and literally on the spot planned a project, right? Like you literally said, okay, I want to go build this coop. Instead of sitting down and thinking about it and planning it out, you literally went to Home Depot and planned it out on the spot. You figured out all the materials that you needed right then and there, how you were going to do it, and you thought through it, and then you got those materials. Okay, you can admit it. I've done it, and I think probably a lot of people have done it. In fact, do me a favor and tell me in the comments if you've ever done that. Okay, I also want to know if you've started a project and you're kind of winging it. How many trips to the hardware store did you make during a particular project? Okay, we've all been there, and we all kind of get complacent. Even though I am a planner. I am a planner. Okay, I spent a lot of time in the military. I spent a lot of time leading operational planning teams. And when I transitioned to the civilian world, I became a project management professional, a PMP. And I plan. I like to plan. But there's times when I will start winging it. And it always backfires on me. Okay, unless it's something really simple. But let's talk about this. Okay, so goals. Let's start with goals. We need to go back and just very quickly take a look at goals, because they really are the foundation. I said last time in the last video, if you haven't seen day 19, go back and check that out, that there's basically those who do and those who don't. And those who have written goals generally accomplish a lot more than those who don't. Okay, that's just a fact. Now, when we set goals are really important, and they help us to achieve where we want to go. Okay, they're our guideposts. They're they're the destination that we want to get to. Okay, we have to start first with some type of a dream or a vision. Okay, a dream or a vision by itself is not very effective. In fact, I would differentiate those just a little bit. Usually, when I would say is a dream is something like, yeah, that's kind of like pie in the sky. This is a wonderful thing that I'm shooting for, this big thing. Okay, and that's good. That's really good. A vision translates it down to a plan and is something to be executed. Okay, so a dream is good. It should be kind of woven into a vision. And then how we support that dream or vision. A good way to do it, there's many ways, but a good way to do it is to set goals that support that vision. Okay, so again, that's starting with the big picture. It's starting with the vision, and then we set goals. There's many different ways to set goals. One I like, and it's easy for people to understand, and a lot of people have already heard about it, or they probably know it at least to some degree, is this idea of SMART goals. Okay, SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. Okay, it's got to be something that's specific. You have to understand whether or not you're going to complete that goal. When it's completed, you have to be able to say to yourself, I completed the goal. Because why? I made a specific goal. It has to be measurable. It's like, again, how are you going to know if something's measurable? Go back to the New Year's resolution. It's like, well, what's your New Year's resolution? Oh, I want to be fitter in 2020. Well, what is that? Is that specific? Is that measurable? No, it's not. So if it's not specific, if it's not measurable, how are you going to know if you can attain it? Is it relevant? Maybe it's relevant to your overall vision, which is to be a healthier person, etc. And is it timely? Well, maybe so, because you said it was in 2020, but that's about the only thing. Okay, so we want to have SMART goals, and I would say SMART W. Okay, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely, and the W is why. Okay, all right, let's go through an example. So I've got this vision, and I want to build this self-sufficient homestead. I want to be able to meet some of our own needs from our property. I may even want to hit some metrics, like be able to produce 50% of all of our own caloric needs from the property. And I want to have redundant systems. Okay, so something like that. Okay, that's kind of like a vision, right? And we could play with that some more. It could be a narrative. And then I set a goal. So for example, let's say I set a goal. I want to increase my water security. Okay, so I set a goal and I say, I want to install a rainwater catchment system, and I want to have at least 1,000 gallons of storage in 2020. Okay, so I want to have that system, 1,000 gallons of storage, 2020. All right, so let's look at that under the Smart W. Is that specific? Yeah, it's specific. It's a rainwater catchment system. Is it measurable? Yep, it's 1,000 gallons. Is it attainable? Yeah, it's within our budget and our expertise. Is it relevant? It's totally relevant to our vision for our homestead. And is it timely? Yeah, I'm going to do it this year. Okay, or maybe I'm going to do it in April. Okay, whatever the case. Now the W, why? I recommend that you attach a W to every goal that you make. Okay, every SMART goal that you make, or goal, whatever. If you say, I want to be able to run a 5K in 20 minutes or less, you know, by the end of this year. Okay. Now, what you do is you attach a W. Okay, why? Okay, why do you want to run a 5K? Why do you want the water storage? Well, I want the water storage because it's going to increase my redundancy in water, and it's going to give me a feeling of peace and joy to know that I have that type of emergency water for my family, for our animals, and irrigation for our plants in case we have a real dry summer because our well doesn't produce significantly. Okay, that attaching that why to that goal gives it some juice. Okay, that makes it a much better goal. So I really recommend that. So Smart W. Okay, here's another example. Okay, I want to grow 50% of our own caloric needs in 2020. Okay, right? Is it specific? Yeah, we might get a little more specific even if when we get down to the planning and to talk about how we're going to do that. Okay, but it is specific, right? I want to hit 50%. Is it measurable? Yes, it's obviously measurable. Is it attainable? Yeah, we can do that with the baselines that we have set up, with the things that we have in place. It is attainable. Okay, is it relevant? Absolutely. Self-sufficient homestead's the vision, the goal, right? Or the ultimate dream. Okay, timely. Yes, this year. Why? Again, because I'm going to get a feeling of peace and joy, and it's going to build in that type of redundancy for our food systems, and we're going to feel all the better for it. Okay, so again, Smart W, add a Y to your goals, and it'll strengthen them at least double. Okay, that's totally scientific fact right there. All right, now let's talk about planning. Let's shift to planning. Okay, because now we have our vision, and we have these series of SMART goals with a W. Okay, and so maybe again, our vision is to build this self-sufficient homestead, and you know, we want to live this lifestyle, and it's very pastoral, and it's something that we enjoy. It brings us peace, comfort, and all of that. Okay, then we set these series of Smart W goals. Okay, and now it's time to plan. Okay, now it's time to plan. So we can go through some different types of planning, right? We can do strategic planning. We can do conceptual planning. We can do specific planning. We can do project planning. We can do all these types of planning, but I want to break it down into just very, very basics for you today. Okay, so 3 key concepts when it comes to planning that I think are foundational and that will make you a better planner. Absolute, no question about it in my mind. I know you'll be a better planner if you take to heart these 3 concepts. The first one is effectiveness over efficiency. So many people are so busy. They are going. They're doing and moving. Okay, they're extremely busy. And they might be like, you know, I'm really busy. I work so much. I'm doing it, right? But are they doing the right things? Okay, so here's a key difference between effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness is doing the right things. Efficiency is doing things right. Okay, you're smooth it's efficient, it flows, I'm not wasting a lot of time. But what if I'm actually doing the wrong things? What if I'm doing things that are not supporting my dream or vision? And we want to do that. Okay, so we want to be effective over efficient. Ideally, it's both. But if you got to pick one, it's got to be effective. So one thing that you can always do is when you sit down and go, okay, what am I being effective right now? In other words, am I doing the right things? Am I doing the things that are the most important right now? Or am I just busy and doing things? Okay, so make sure that you do that. Effectiveness over efficiency. The second thing is the Pareto principle. Okay, the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle was an Italian economist who was looking at land and ownership, and he started like figuring this thing out, and he said, "Yeah, interesting. 20% of the people own 80% of the land." Okay, and then that idea got developed more and more and more, because I'm going to make this a short story, and it got brought over into economics and business and anything, just about anything you can think of, that 20% of the causes result in 80% of the effects. Okay, so 20% of the employees do 80% of the work. 20% of the employees cause 80% of the problems. Okay, 20% of products generate 80% of revenue. 20% of the things you do on your homestead produce 80% of the calories, okay, that you're trying to achieve. Okay, you get the drift. Okay, so the Pareto principle. And then we have systems over will. Okay, systems over will. Our willpower is weak. Okay, systems are not weak. Routines are not weak. Routines, when we get into routines and habits and systems, we can follow through on those things. We do much better, generally speaking, when we have routines and habits and systems set in place. And there, so that I use this example. If I say, I need to start drinking more water. I really need to start drinking more water. So, okay, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to drink more water. Okay, so I'm going to drink, 8 glasses of 8 ounces of water every day, and I'm just going to do that. All right. How well am I going to do at that? Instead, what if I say, the first thing I do when I wake up after I go to the bathroom is pour a cup right in the bathroom that's 16 ounces and immediately drink 16 ounces of water, and that's how I'm going to start every single day. Which one is stronger? My willpower over here to remember every day to make sure I get in my water, or this system over here where I start with 2 glasses down immediately, and then off I go, and then I set other, say, routines. Okay, every time I have an alarm set for 10 o'clock every morning, for example, and then I know that's going to be another 16 ounces of water, or whatever. You get my point. Systems over will. And so it is with planning. Okay, so maybe it's every Sunday evening, after dinner, you sit down for an hour or two and you plan out the week. Okay, maybe it's every single morning you have your morning routine. You get up, you go to the bathroom, you drink your water, you go and you do your reading or whatever it is that you do, and you sit down and you look at the day and you do a quick planning session right there for the day. Okay, systems over will. Okay, so those things are key. I think they're, if somebody were to take hold of those 3 concepts, you would be well on your way, even if you didn't have all the technical details of how to plan a project or how to do conceptual planning or strategic planning, all of that. Okay, so now let's just close with this. Let's look at how we would basically plan a project, okay? Because I don't want to overwhelm you with a bunch of technical details of project planning or conceptual, strategic, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so how do we do it? Well, first of all, I've got these goals over here, right, based on this vision, and then I have my routine set up where I can step and go, okay, this week, what is the things that I want to accomplish this week? And it's like, okay, so let's say that we're going to install that rainwater catchment system on Saturday. Okay, that's coming up. So this is next Saturday. I'm gonna install this system. It's like, okay, so I need to sit down and I need to think about like, okay, so what's the goal here? Okay, the goal is to install a rainwater catchment system that has the capacity of 1,000 gallons, and it's going to have, you know, these things. I want it to have, you know, a first flush system, and I want it to be able to hook a garden hose straight to it, you know, whatever the case may be. Okay, so you come up with that overall goal for the project. Okay, what's the objective? Okay, what are the things that it needs, the overall concepts that it needs, the objectives that it needs. Okay, and then now we take a look and we break it down, and we got to go through this kind of like brainstorming, like, okay, so how can I do that? What are some of the different ways that I can do that? Well, I can use different types of tanks. I can use, you know, multiple IBC totes stacked on top of one another. I can just get a 1,000 gallon tank. Okay, I can tie these together. I can do, you know, A, B, or C. Okay, where you know, you start going through this exercise of understanding, you know, the who, what, the when, where, and the why of the project. Okay, you determine your different things that you can do. Okay, so you're going to come with different options. Okay, then you're going to pick one that makes the most sense based on your situation, your budget, and everything else. And then you're going to start listing out. The next stage could be you're listing out all the tasks associated with it. Okay, what are all the tasks? Well, I need to purchase supplies. I need to be able to you know, do certain things like you know, using the rubber cement to put the pieces together and get the tank and do all those types of things. So you list out all the tasks, okay, and then you sequence the tasks, right? Now you go, oh, okay, actually, well, this has got to come first before that, because that makes sense logically. I can't install whatever. I can't install the finished components until I get the tank in place. I can't get the tank in place until I put the foundation down. I can't put the foundation down until I do the pre-work. You know what I mean? So you set up all those different tasks, then you order those tasks. And in fact, that's a good way to then create your list, your materials list. Okay, so you've got all your tasks laid out. They're put in order, and then you can get your task list or your materials list from there. Okay, right? This is real basic stuff. Okay, we're not doing this real intensive project planning here. Okay, then it's time to execute, right? Obviously, you have to do that pre-work, right? So the task might be go to the store and buy these products and blah, blah, blah. Make sure you have all that stuff on hand so you don't have to go to the hardware store 4 or 5 times. Okay, then you execute. Okay, and throughout, we do what we call monitoring and controlling. Okay, so we're gonna watch our progress. We're gonna keep track of the materials that we have on hand. We're going to keep track of the cost. You know, we're going to keep track of like, hey, am I on track with my estimates on how long this is going to take? Okay, that kind of thing, right? So that's how we could kind of monitor and control a project. And then we're gonna when we're done, we're gonna do an assessment. And I always recommend you do this. You got to sit down and you have to do an assessment. It's an after action, or it's a debrief. When you look back and go, okay, well, my first initial estimates when I was doing conceptual planning was that this was going to cost me, $700, but I ended up making 3 trips to the hardware store, and at the end of the day, it cost me $1,100. Okay, so what are my lessons learned there? Okay, one, I did not do enough detailed planning. I didn't map out the task well enough, which then led to an incomplete materials list, which led to a bad estimate, which led to being well over budget. Okay, and now, so in the future, I know now that I'm going to go spend a little bit more time on my detailed planning. Okay, so my goal next time is only have a 1 second trip to the hardware store, not 3 or 4 or 5. Okay, so that's kind of like how I would approach the kind of basic homestead planning. There's a whole lot more to it than that. And, maybe sometime I'll do some videos on strategic planning and that kind of stuff for homesteading. because you can be very effective if you will do these things, if you will follow those concepts. Okay, Pareto principle. Okay, effectiveness over efficiency, systems over will, all those things, and then you just do some basic planning. You're going to start seeing yourself become way more effective and getting a whole lot more done. Okay, so hey, if you got something out of this video, please hit like and subscribe to our channel, and let me know if you have any specific questions, or if you want to give me your approach. What do you think about those concepts? What concepts drive you? I'd love to hear from you on those types of things.